Mike, we got the Super Bowl matchup now.
We do.
Steelers, Packers in there. Let's get back a little bit and rewind and look at what happened in the championship games. We'll start with the Packers and the Bears. The big turning point seemed to be when the Packers got, for lack of a better term, knocked out Cutler. We're not sure if he took himself out or what, but Jay Cutler leaves the game, and then that becomes the bigger story than the Packers beating the Bears in a great rivalry matchup. What is your take with Jay Cutler?
It's an interesting thing because, Jay Cutler, it reminds me a little bit of Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu.
He's like the worst.
Interesting.
He's like the worst body language guy of all time, and in Abreu's case, I almost think that there's a little bit of an ethic among the Latin ball players that's a little different than what we're used to in America. But Cutler's case, no, and he's the picture that said it all for me on Sunday is he's sitting there on the bench, and this third string quarterback who has virtually no NFL experience, certainly no playoff experience, certainly has not been in anything like this situation. He's thumbing through the pictures that they send from upstairs about coverage and stuff and trying to figure it out. He's sitting right next to Cutler, and Cutler's kind of sitting there like, all right, here we go, And, America is watching this, and he may be a tough guy, and he may do all the right things in the locker room, although it's hard to imagine that a guy with his apparent personality does, but there's a part of the quarterback's job that is almost like a politician's job. In the modern NFL, as ridiculous as that sounds, and people are watching you for everything you say and every little gesture you make and everything you do, and man, does he send out bad messages in that body language thing.
Going back to the politician, that politician from Vermont that years ago during the campaign trail to become elected president let out some holler, and it basically cost him everything. One mistake. I wonder if Jay Cutler can recover from this. Meaning, did he actually lose the locker room? He certainly lost the rest of the NFL. There were so many tweets. And then people taking back their tweets. I mean, I don't get this.
That's another thing about
the whole tweet thing. What a dumb name, too.
All of these NFL players who were critical of Cutler, in the past, they probably all would have thought that, but they didn't. There was no such thing as Twitter to pump it out there immediately
now it's like
to the world.
You're subconscious. You can.
Yeah, that's a weird aspect of it. Now the Bears have been very adamant in defending him, and defending his toughness and defending his role on that team as a leader. And I mean, you could say, well, yeah, they have to do that. I think it's gone beyond what you have to do a little bit. It's impressed me with the way they've defended him. And the other thing is, he's probably the first athlete in history who went into an MRI hoping that the injury was worse.
Fingers crossed.
than it might have been.
True.
Amazing.
The man has type 1 diabetes. Talk about tough. And that's not an easy thing to have to deal with. And he was sacked 57 times this year. Yeah. That's mentally draining.
And missed one game.
So I'll give him that. But I'll tell you what, he throws interceptions and he looks so nonchalant about it. He doesn't seem to show the emotion. Doesn't seem to have those leader characteristics. Quite frankly, I don't like the guy. And ESPN just did a poll, and guess who finished ahead of him as far as likes? Ben Roethlisberger and Michael Vick finished ahead of this guy.
Well, but we are seeing, and this may be another thing we can talk about, but we're seeing the transformation of Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, people are quickly going to forget all of his transgressions of the past, and he is headed toward Derek Jeterville, where you're going to get credit for whatever you do because people believe that you just know how to win the big game, and he's going to get people are going to judge him not so much how he plays, but based on in the context of sort of this reputation that he has, which is impeccable as a football player.
10-2 record in the playoffs. You can't take it away. He's going to go for his third Super Bowl title 2 weeks from now.
Right.
That's impressive. In the way he won. The other two, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Manning's, the Jets went before, had a certain way of playing. This guy doesn't worry about stats. If it's running for a first and going head first, or if it's throwing, this guy just finds ways, the intangibles, to get it done. And it's impressive. And the Steelers are impressive with how they won. They keep finding different ways to win. This time it was the running game that carried them into the Super Bowl.
There's no question about that. And the weird thing about the NFL in recent years is how in huge games these teams seem to go completely against type. The Packers weren't supposed to be able to run the ball. They're supposed to have a bad offensive line. Look how they ran it against the Eagles. The Steelers are supposed to have a bad offensive line. They were playing one of the best defenses in the game, and look how they ran the ball. that's something we haven't seen in the past.